Sri Lanka's parliament votes for a new president as protesters wait. Colombo. Sri Lankan government ringed parliament with heavy protection on Wednesday as lawmakers organized to choose among 3 applicants for president, hoping the brand new chief ought to pull the island out of a crippling financial and political crisis. A win for performing President Ranil Wickremesinghe, one of the major contenders, however adverse through many normal Sri Lankans, ought to result in extra demonstrations by way of humans furious with the ruling elite after months of crippling shortages of fuel, food and drugs, several protesters have stated. If Ranil comes into electricity, we cannot have balance, said Duminda Nagamua, who organized protests in Colombo after the nominations had been finalized. Other protesters have stated the performing president is an ally of the effective Rajapaksa-owned family, who they blame for the economic disaster. The different foremost candidate, ruling festivity lawmaker Dulles Allahaparama, is more ideal to the protesters and the opposition but does no longer have any top-level governance enjoy in a country with barely any greenbacks for imports and desperately in want of an IMF bailout. The third candidate, Anura Kumara Dasanayaka, the chief of the leftist Janatha Vimukti Peramuna party, instructions only 3 seats within the 225-member parliament and has no realistic danger of triumphing. Hundreds of police, paramilitary and navy troops were deployed around the parliament, constructing and an approach avenue had as a minimum 3 barricades. Security employees in pace boats patrolled a lake around the building, and army jeeps and armored motors stood parked inside the perimeter. Wickremesinghe, a 6-time top minister, became acting president closing week after then-President Gotabaya Rajapaksa fled to Singapore while loads of lots of human beings came out at the streets in opposition to his administration and occupied his professional house and workplace. Protesters also burned down Wickremesinghe's private home and stormed his workplace. It was now not right away clear how much aid 73-year-old Wickremesinghe and 63-year-old Allahaparama have in parliament. Wickremesinghe is subsidized with the aid of a segment of the ruling festivity that had a total of 145 seats as of the closing parliamentary election in 2020. Allahaparama has the guide of the opposite segment in addition to the principal competition festivity that received 54 seats last time round. Several small parties have promised to guide him as well. Latest numbers aren't clear due to the fact a few lawmakers have turned out to be independents. Earlier Ranil Wickremesinghe became the frontrunner, however now the outcome is an awful lot greater unsure, stated political scientist Jayadeva Uyangoda. The stability of parliament energy has shifted away from him. The final results is dependent on how plenty manipulate the Rajapaksas have over their party individuals. Sri Lanka's parliament in 1993 unanimously selected D.B. Wijantunga to complete the tenure of assassinated President Ranasinghe Premadasa. This time 3 candidates are inside the fray to finish Rajapaksa's time period, scheduled to end in 2024. It could be marked as a new experience within the parliamentary history of this U.S. announcement from the verbal exchange leader of parliament said, laying out the process. A candidate receiving greater than 1/3 of the valid votes cast may be declared elected. If no candidate reaches the mark, the one with the bottom variety of votes can be eliminated from the opposition and alternatives of lawmakers taken under consideration to eventually arrive at a winner.